Thank you, Mr. Chair and committee members. Well, these pumps get placed so that you can see the severity of the issue in the high desert again. Once again, thank you for allowing me to present Assembly Bill 2310. First, I would like to thank the committee for their work on this bill, and I will be accepting the committee's amendments. The amendments were accepted will make sure that lower-level waste transporters are not targets of this bill, and that those that use dump trucks to transport and deposit materials on contracted staging grounds would not be penalized. In other words, for those that are doing construction, like construction material. And lastly, these amendments will modify the penalty structure for the fourth and subsequent offense to a wobbler penalty in place of the original misdemeanor penalty. AB 2310 is a measure that strengthens enforcement against large-scale and repeat illegal dumping, holds responsible parties accountable for cleanup costs, and protects communities for environmental harm. Illegal dumping has the potential to cause widespread environmental harm to the soil and water if chemicals leach down into the water table, as well as in the air. Depending on the types of materials, gases, or chemicals can be found in these waste deposits. Furthermore, profit-driven illegal dumping has long since been an issue for Californian communities across the state. According to the Los Angeles County Department of Regional Planning, as well as the District Attorney's Office, more than 240 properties in Los Angeles County are currently under investigation or enforcement review for alleged illicit dumping activity. Areas significantly impacted include Lancaster, Palmdale, and Llano in the Antelope Valley. Additional reported cases exist in Santa Clarita, Acton, Calabasas, Malibu, the San Gabriel Valley, and neighboring Ventura County. Existing law under Penal Code Section 374.3 prohibits the dumping of waste material or rocks, concrete, asphalt, or dirt upon a public or private road, upon private property without the consent of the owner, or upon a public park or property. This allows a loophole, however, that private landowners and the bankrolling parties are able to exploit with the owner's consent to dump on property for a profit. This is why I'm here today to introduce AB 2310 to protect our national environments and urban communities from being affected by the damages caused by harmful material deposits. In order to ensure the safety of our national environment, we must bolster our productive measures relating to these kinds of repeat violations. This piece of legislation will be essential, providing law enforcement the tools they need to safeguard our environment, health, and discourage these repeat offenders from engaging in these illegal activities. As you can see on these props today, these are the amounts of trash that are being dumped in the high desert in my district. You can see the pictures here, how tall they are. There's pictures that show the height of a person. One of them is me visiting those sites. And just the amount of trash that is dumped just on the desert is just something that needs to be fixed. Enforcement is one issue, but there's also a lack of enforcement capacities and also the penalties that keep getting ignored. But as you can see in these props here, if you go to a landfill, that's what you see, a legally processed landfill like Waste Management and any of the other ones. I would argue that this is the same thing, except that it's injuring our communities. Like I said in my talking points, it is the environment and the health of the constituents that I represent in High Desert. With that, joining me to testify in support and answer technical questions is Tamar Tokat with the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office, and Erika Schwerth with South Bay Center for Counseling.
Go ahead with your witness testimony. Stay within the time frame, please.
Thank you. Good morning, members, and to the chair when he returns. I'm Larry Drager. I'm here on behalf of the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office, where I'm the head deputy of our Environmental Crimes Division. So we are proud sponsors of AB 2310. AB 2310 addresses a very timely, significant, and emerging environmental justice issue in communities throughout our state. The problem is the ever-increasing use of lands by profiteering private entities, businesses, and corporations that are essentially creating private, illegal landfills, dump sites where many, many tons of waste material, construction debris, and trash are being dumped on open land. In Southern California, this problem became particularly acute after wildfires swept through LA County last year. Debris from the fires contained hazardous and toxic materials such as lead, asbestos, arsenic, and other heavy metals. Contractors trying to save a buck by not disposing of the debris properly started dumping it illegally in open piles in the Antelope Valley and other areas. The illegal dumping of this fire debris was only the latest example of an ongoing problem that has been increasing in severity for many years throughout the state. Waste is dumped without any of the protections to the environment or local communities that are seen in legal landfills. It's spread over vast acreages and left to seep into groundwater and be swept by the winds into the surrounding areas and communities. The impact is severe on areas that the public relies on to experience nature and neighborhoods that are almost always inhabited by disenfranchised and underserved communities. AB 2310 will fix this problem. It'll strengthen the existing statute by ensuring those who cause large-scale damage are treated differently from small-scale offenders, and it will allow much-needed accountability for these large-scale operators, corporations, and business entities that are dumping 50 cubic yards or more of waste. AB 2310 provides important and necessary tools to deter intentional widespread pollution to the environment and harm to the communities. Thank you so much for your attention to this bill, and on behalf of the LA County District Attorney's Office, I ask for your aye votes.
Thank you. Do you have another witness testimony, Assemblymember?
I do, sir.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Hello, chairs and members of the committee. My name is Erica Schwartz, and I'm here on behalf of South Bay Center for Counseling, as well as the community members across the Antelope Valley in strong support of AB 2310. I am a resident of the Antelope Valley, specifically in the rural community of Lake Los Angeles. For nearly a decade, since around 2018, our communities have been living in ongoing impacts of illegal dumping. This is not a new issue. It is a persistent and growing problem that has gone unaddressed for a long time. Our communities are not just witnessing the illegal dumping, but we are also its victims over and over again. First, we are penalized by doing the right thing. We pay to have our waste properly disposed of, yet some companies pocket the money and illegally dump these materials instead of complying with local law enforcement. Second, we are victims of the direct environmental and health impacts. Toxic waste is being dumped in our backyards. We are dealing with spontaneous fires, harmful fumes, and pollutants that threaten our soil and water. Families are exposed to conditions that should never have existed in the first place. And third, we are victims as taxpayers. We fund cities and county public work departments, as well as taxes for CalRecycle, to clean up illegal dumping, yet resources are limited. Some sites are addressed, while others are left behind to sit and decompose and off-gas toxic fumes over a period of time. Most concerning is the impact on public health, especially for our youth. In some areas, dumpings exist near schools, which kids walk through on a regular basis because we're rural communities. No community should have to accept this as their normal. California Assembly Bill 2310 is a necessary step forward by clearly defining what qualifies as compost, mulch, and organic waste versus solid waste. This is something that will help close the loopholes on how illegal dumping is being disguised as legitimate activity. It gives agencies the clarity that it needs to identify violations and act on it. This bill is a step in the right direction in ensuring waste is properly categorized, regulated, and no longer used to cover harmful substances. I support this, and I hope that you do too.
Thank you so much. Those in support?
Good morning, Rochelle Beardsley, California DAs Association, support.
Kayla Robinson with Californians Against Waste in support. Thank you.
Travis Legault with the Rural County Representatives of California, reviewing the amendments but in support.
Hello everyone, my name is Sikalali Shur and I am 10 years old. Thank you for letting me speak today. I am representing both the school I lead Lancaster's fourth grade class and a youth program called SBCC Escape Room. I have been participating in community cleanups since I was 3, and a big challenge is that no matter how much we clean up, the commercial trucks full of trash keep coming. It has gotten more toxic for our community and is not safe for me to help clean up anymore. I brought with me a letter of support signed by my peers and community members from all over LA County and some from San Bernardino County. Please accept them. I urge you to stand with me in passing AB 2310 for better enforcement of illegal dumping in my community. I would like to grow up in an environment that is clean, but every time I see the trucks drive by, I know things are not going to change. Please help us.
Thank you for your testimony. Testimony in opposition? Testimony in opposition?
So pretty hard to follow that up.
Yeah.
All right. Leslie Caldwell Houston, on behalf of the California Public Defenders Association, in respectful opposition to AB 2310. While we're very appreciative of the author's agreement to accept amendments, we continue to have some concerns. I do want to specifically thank the author's staff member, Jalen Wise, for reaching out to us and having some discussion with me as late as 9 p.m. last night. We remain opposed unless amended, as this bill continues to expand liability to individuals who may lack the requisite intent and who may be acting at the direction of another. Although the amendment attempts to address this by clarifying that individuals acting at the direction of an employer shall not be charged with dumping commercial quantities, this protection is likely too narrow in practice. It would require individuals to establish that the person directing them qualifies as an employer under the law. Many indigent clients work for informal or precarious arrangements that may not meet that definition, yet their conduct would still fall within the statute's reach. Further, the bill with the amendment still risks disproportionately impacting indigent individuals while offering meaningful protection primarily to those in more formal employment relationships who are, in many cases, more likely to have the requisite intent. We are also concerned about the fourth-time misdemeanor provision. Additional criminalization and penalties are always of deep concern. For the above reasons, we respectfully request your no vote.
Thank you so much. Go ahead.
Chair and members, my name is Avery Rodriguez. I'm a legislative advocate with ACLU California Action. While we are very appreciative of author accepting the committee amendments, we continue to have issues with this bill, increasing criminal penalties of an existing crime and expanding illegal dumping to include construction debris, which isn't properly defined. And as someone who's worked on remodeling homes for many years with my dad, there's a lot of, that can contain a lot of different materials. I'd like to also start by noting that, for the record, if a person transporting illegal dumping materials has the specific intent to commit illegal dumping, that person can be charged for attempted dumping under current law, Penal Code 21A. This would make the proposed provisions in this bill to explicitly include transporting these materials for the purpose of illegal dumping unnecessary. And as noted in the committee analysis, evidence shows that growing criminal fines increase recidivism, specifically among a population that has historically faced disproportionate punishment in the criminal justice system. Furthermore, there is a great amount of study and evidence surrounding the efficacy behind increased criminal penalties and its impact on crime deterrence. Evidence indicates increasing criminal punishment fails to deter crime. Other studies find that the severity of punishment does not generally have an increased effect on deterrence. Rather, it is the certainty of punishment that has a greater deterrence effect than the severity of the punishment itself. We encourage legislators to reconsider non-carceral alternatives that attempt to get at the root causes of crime and address it there. We must reimagine our approach to our criminal legal system by moving away from the tired and old carceral solutions that have plagued much of our state. For these reasons, we respectfully urge your no vote on AB 2310. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Those in opposition? Any in opposition? Bringing it back to the dais, is there a motion or a second?
Move the bill.
Second. It's been a motion and a second. You have closing remarks?
I just wanted.
Oh, go ahead.
If I'm not already, I'd like to be a co-author to this. I just want to thank the author for this bill and thank the young lady for giving her testimony as well. We work with Caltrans on a lot of these issues. We work with community cleanups. Earth Day is just around the corner. I represent downtown Los Angeles and surrounding communities. which has become the epicenter in addition to the Antelope Valley, where people are dumping couches, they're dumping furniture. They're coming from the west side, they're coming from the south side, the east side, the north side, and they're treating our community like it's absolute trash. And that's what this is about. They are telling our communities that we are trash, and that's what this is about. And it's upsetting, it's frustrating. I know that my particular street where I live in downtown is oftentimes illegal dumping as well, where they've thrown couches. And then, unfortunately, individuals have set those couches on fire, which set my apartment building on fire, and they had to deal with that situation. And so if they're not getting penalized and they're continuing to do this, they're going to continue to do it over and over. And we sat through this committee where I had a copper wire theft that talked about how this is a part of that issue, because when the lights are out, nobody's watching what's happening, and there are no cameras or anything that is working in that area, so they constantly dump it. And so I challenge those who have concerns about this to join me and off the 110 and the 10 freeway, off of, Grand Avenue. And you see this happening time and time again. And it's really disappointing that that's how they're treating our community, and just the amount of debris and trash that gets picked up from the side of the freeway. Now, it does provide good jobs, but we don't want to trash California. I just want to thank the author for bringing this forward today, and I'd like to be listed as a co-author.
Absolutely. Thank you, Assemblymember Gonzalez.
Senator Ramos, I'd like to just say something really quickly. This is not the first legislative remedy that's been brought forward to this body. And I will tell you that all previous attempts have failed. And it's very, very frustrating being a person who lives out in these rural areas. The desert is a target-rich circumstance because we have miles and miles and miles of open desert. And I appreciate the fact that you kind of gave a visual impact of how that's just one spot.
Yes.
I'm telling you, it's all over. And there is incentive because of the regulatory circumstance on how to get rid of trash and especially hazardous waste. There is a huge financial incentive for a lot of professional dumping, and that is what's happening. It's professionals. As you saw the amount of debris that was dumped there, that wasn't somebody from their backyard. That was very, very professionally dumped.
Yes.
And there's no real disincentive to stop it. So this is what this bill is trying to do, is bring attention and express intolerance for this kind of behavior. As a society, we need to actually, there is a lot of intent for regulatory circumstances with how we manage our waste. But sometimes it has a negative consequence like this, because there's such a regulatory limit and it's so expensive to process that waste. They're encouraged to do this. And right now, even if they're caught, it's still well worth it.
Yeah.
So we got to stop that. And this bill attempts to do that. And so I'm very thankful that you brought it forward, and I pray it survives.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Assemblymember
Assemblymember Lackey. Any other questions, comments from the dais?
I'm here.
Sharp Collins?
Thank you. I, too, would like to thank the author for bringing this forward. I did not plan on speaking on this, but after even seeing the pictures and hearing more, I do want to acknowledge that I also understand the opposition's positions as it's concerned about the increased penalties and putting penalties on property owners and others who may not have been responsible for the dumping, permitting, and so forth. So I completely understand that as well. In one of my unincorporated areas, which is Spring Valley, they're doing exactly what you're showing. Mm-hmm. This land has become a dumping ground, and it is professional dumping that's happening over there. And we have a lot of unhoused population that is also there. Mm-hmm. And so I've taken the tour, I've done the walkthrough, and I've asked, how is this even possible to have, when I say the pictures you showed, it's about that much, if not more. The smells, all these different types of things, is right in the heart of the unincorporated area of Spring Valley. So I understand where you're coming from. I do appreciate you bringing this forward. I'm in the process of addressing this now in my own district. We're talking to our county board of supervisors and others to figure out how we can get this cleared out. But I wanted to acknowledge that I also understand the issues in regards to the penalties and so forth. But we have to do something, because the air itself is unbreathable, honestly, in those areas because of the amount of product that's being dumped. So, go ahead.
Thank you for that. Any other questions, comments?
Mr. Chair, if I could just add something I completely forgot, Ms. Sharp Collins reminded me. Many commercial properties in my area as well. I represent the Arts District and the Industrial District in Los Angeles. And many of my businesses have been complaining that their insurance is getting cut because of the illegal dumping and debris in those areas. In addition, when they challenge the insurance companies who don't want to insure the properties, their insurance companies are sending, to my understanding, drones to go double check if the commercial property owners are lying or not. And then when they start to see the debris, they immediately cancel them, and then they can't get insured. And so many times when there's broken windows or there's other issues as a result of the dumping, it's cheaper for them to just pay out of their pocket to replace it than it is for them to go with the insurance. That's if they're even still insured. And so to Ms. Sharp-Collins' point, yes, I agree with you and your points on that. So I'm hoping you guys can work to a happy medium on that, but it is a fair point. So I do want to acknowledge that as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
If I might, through
Go
the
ahead.
chair. Yeah, I just want to, I appreciate your comments, and I'm obviously the author and your reasons for moving this bill forward. But as the member from Palmdale mentioned, that, you know, there is an incentive within the regulatory framework, and rather than trying to push carceral solutions to this problem, we should be looking at non-carceral solutions. And that's something that we should be examining more closely, is trying to get rid of these incentives for people to illegally dump or have this profession even. And if they get caught, you know, it's cheaper for them to do that. So we just try to encourage members here to try to move away from these punitive approaches, because we have so much in our penal code already. But thank you for raising those points.
Thank you so much. Assembly Member Alanis?
Thank you, Senator Ramos. Love the bill. Obviously, working in the county as the deputy sheriff and seeing illegal dumping going on everywhere, it's great to see this bill. And I'm obviously big on consequences, but I'm also about rehabilitation. So I think consequence parts, I'm hoping will deter a lot of this from happening or continuing to happen. So I appreciate this, and I'd also ask to be a co-author.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, would you like to close?
Thank you. Thank you all for your comments. As you stated, this is not unique to the high desert. It's in big urban areas like in downtown LA. More work needs to be done, absolutely. We need to continue working on this issue, which again is affecting not only urban areas, but rural communities, and the effects of what the environment is going to encounter is directly related to those that live nearby. So with that, I thank you for your comments. This bill will combat unlawful dumping by closing the gaps of remaining enforcement tools to address repeat offenders, large-scale commercial dumping operations, and property owners who knowingly facilitate such activities. I respectfully ask for an aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblymember Carrillo. And just to confirm, you have accepted committee amendments?
I accept the committee amendments, yes, sir.
Thank you. With that, Chair Schultz recommends an aye vote. Please call the roll.
For item 28, AB 2310 by Assemblymember Carrillo, the motion is due pass as amended to the Appropriations Committee. Schultz. Alanis. Aye. Alanis, aye. Gonzalez. Aye. Gonzalez, aye. Haney. Horobidian. Lackey.
Aye.
Lackey, aye. Nguyen, aye. Ramos.
Aye.
Ramos, aye. Sharp-Collins. Sharp-Collins, aye.
Thank you, committee members. Thank you.